Good evening, Prescott Valley. Welcome to the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting of Tuesday, April 14th, 2015. Kathy, can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Trevini?
Here.
Commissioner Fallman?
Here.
Chairperson Brinkman?
Here.
Commissioner Frere?
Here.
Commissioner Gummer?
Yes. And if everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda and there are no changes, can we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of the minutes for March 10th, 2015, the regular meeting. If everybody's had a chance to look at those, are there any comments or corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve those?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the March 10th meeting.
And a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries. And now we're on to the exciting part, the announcements. And the first thing we have is Arbor Day celebration.
Yes, sir. Before I begin with our Arbor Day celebration, I would like to announce that we have received word from our Arizona State Forester that the Arbor Day Foundation has confirmed and has bestowed upon the town of Prescott Valley its 10th designation as a Tree City USA community. In addition to that, it has also bestowed the 4th consecutive Tree City USA Growth Award. So we're very proud and happy to have those. This will celebrate our 10th anniversary in the town of Prescott Valley, and those are consecutive years. There's been no break in our status as a Tree City USA community. We are, with that designation, we are one of 22 communities within the state of Arizona having received that designation, and we're very proud that we've been able to accomplish that, as well as then most recently our growth awards, which is coupled to a 5-year planning matrix that the tree advisory committees worked very hard on over the years, and I think we have a very good program moving forward and the accomplishments, and I think you'll see some of that a little bit later in tonight's program. With that being said, I would like to inform the Commission and the community that Friday, April 24th, will be our Arbor Day celebration in Antelope Park. The event will take place from 10 a.m. until noon. It is completely free, so we encourage everyone in the community of all ages to be able to attend and participate in this fantastic event. Our neighbor to the north, Coyote Springs Elementary School, will be out in force, joining with us as we learn about a variety of different elements as it relates to trees, and especially in this case, tree planting, as we will be receiving 2 trees that will be donated to us from Kaler Landworks, and 3 additional trees, compliments of a grant from the Coles Foundation. So we're very, very excited about that we'll have 5 new trees going into this particular park location. And if anyone has any more questions as it relates to Arbor Day, feel free to give us a buzz at 759-3090.
Well, that's great. I think we're going to have another great Arbor Day this year. And of course, everybody knows that Antelope Park has been renovated over the last, 6 to 8 months, and is looking really great now. So folks from other parts of the town come up and see what we've done, and it's really improved. So join us on the 24th, that's Friday the 24th, from 10 to noon in Antelope Park. And our next item is Battle of the Bands.
Yes, Battle of the Bands is coming forth on Saturday, May 16th. Our gates will open at the Mountain Valley Park Amphitheater at noon. Our program will have lineups that will start at 1 and continue all the way through 6 p.m. We have a variety of different food and beverage vendors that will be on site, a number of different activities. Our gate fee is $4 per person. Those that have active military with ID or children under the age of 3 are free. If you have any questions in regards to our event, please look it up on pvaz.net or give us a buzz at the office at 759-3090. We look forward to seeing everyone out there Saturday, May 16th, Mountain Valley Park Amphitheater.
That's always a popular event, so I'm sure we'll have a good turnout again this year.
Most definitely. When you see 2,000 folks gracing the green grass there, having a ton of fun, enjoying some of their favorite bands and genres of music, It is a blast.
It is. Okay, how about some movies under the stars?
Most definitely. Starting Thursday nights, May 21st, running all the way through June 25th. Movies Under the Stars will be presented at the Civic Center Amphitheater. This is located at 7501 East Civic Circle. This particular location is now being retitled as Theater on the Green, so if you're familiar with that, we encourage everyone to come out. This is the newly expanded stage right here on the Civic Center campus. You can't miss it. It's got a big, fabulous roof over the top of it, and our film screen will fit right under there. We've had a ton of folks that have come out over the years, generally averaging right around 500 folks a night. We encourage everyone to come out, enjoy this free entertainment of PG and G-rated films, and gracing the fun grass, all kinds of fun times. We encourage everyone to bring their blankets and chairs. Ask that you please leave your pets at home for everyone's viewing pleasures. And we will also have a variety of different snacks made available through a vendor. So they're on site. So if you just by chance happen to come out after dinner and you get a little snack hungry for the movies, we'll have some goodies there for you. Otherwise, we encourage everyone to come out, get your spot early, bring a little picnic dinner out or any of those other kinds of fun things, as well as we have tons of other green space here. So if you want to throw the football around or fling the Frisbee before the movie starts, we have plenty of space for you all to enjoy the atmosphere here at the Civic Center grounds.
And this looks like the expanded Movies Under the Stars. I see you have 6 dates here.
That is correct.
I think we did that last year.
This will be our first year on the expanded series. Previously, before that, for the last 4 years, we've been able to provide 4 movies during the full month of June. So this year, we're actually starting on the last day of school, which is Thursday, May the 21st, and we'll be able to continue all the way through June. So pretty exciting stuff. We have 2 new movies coming into our summer series.
Oh, great. And now with the new amphitheater, we won't have to have folks from the art and culture holding the sheet up this year. So, it should be a lot better.
Most definitely.
Okay, let's move on to the next item, and that's employment opportunities.
Yes, there's a number of different opportunities. As you see on the screen here, this is a little screenshot of our town website for the employment opportunities. You'll see under Parks and Recreation we have 6, and under Recreation we have 5 different opportunities. This will range from our seasonal park staff to our seasonal aquatics team, as well as also in our athletics division for looking for umpires and referees for a variety of our different events and activities. So encourage everyone, take a peek at that. We are still accepting applications for officials, referees, as well as then also with our aquatics team. So take a peek at that. It can be found at pvaz.net. You'll be able to see at the very top of the screen, you'll see a little word called Jobs. Click on that. It'll bring you directly to the screen that you see, screenshot that you see here on your screen this evening. And you'll be able to click on any of those boxes for Parks and Recreation. A menu will drop down, and you will see the job descriptions for each one of those. You can click on that, learn more, and if you would like to apply for the job, you can do it right then and there. And if you have a resume completed, you can attach that to your completed application and send it right off.
That sounds good. Now, is that the way most applications are coming in, tied through the website?
Yes, sir. That is the way we're accepting applications for all town employment opportunities.
Very good.
Is the resume required?
It is not required, but there is opportunities for you to expound upon your application. Resume is a great way to do that.
One-page resume.
Well, I was just thinking of
Half a page.
young folks that don't have any
Yeah,
work experience.
half a
yet.
page. Yeah. Correct. Okay, let's move on to department update. The first item is a director's report.
In this case, I have nothing further to add to my written report, both personally as well as the departments, but I am happy to answer any questions the commission might have.
Do we have any questions? I didn't see anything that we weren't aware of.
About the only thing, to draw you some commentary that has come across our office today, you did see that there was the arrest that was made down in Fane Park. It was located in the newspaper. Just for everyone's information, it was not within the park. It was adjacent to the park. So it was a gentleman on private property that went through that process. So the park is fine. It's good. And yes, it does have wildlife in it from time to time. But as we all know, it does not constitute taking the actions that were taken today. So I think everything's good from that standpoint, and I think we've been able to answer everyone with their questions and concerns. So I thank everyone for that.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification, because the article I read was not very clear. Okay, let's move on to the chairperson's report, and really I'm going to combine this with the next item, is the Tree Advisory Board business. And the first item on there is a tree data collection event, and as we've mentioned before, the Parks and Rec Department is going to be working with volunteers and town staff to complete a tree inventory, counting all trees and listing their location and condition. That count's going to take place on Saturday, May 9th from 8 a.m. to noon. Do you know where we're meeting?
Yes, we're asking all volunteers to please contact us at our office at 759-3090. From that, what we'd like to do is capture your information, your name, your telephone number, and an email address. We'll follow that up with an email that will be made available to you no later than May the 6th, giving you information in regards to the activities we'll be conducting, as well as a meeting point and time. From there, when we gather, we go through the very basic instructions, and when I say basic, a fair number of you participated in our first initial inventory. I think you found it very easy to comprehend as well as to put into application that day. Literally, I think there was only one individual that had any type of tree knowledge or background. And so it worked out fantastic for everyone, and that's exactly for those folks that feel that they would not qualify to be a volunteer for this. Well, that's not true. We encourage everyone, because this is a very easy element to grab a hold of. You have a workbook to give you guidance in regards to discovering species types and those kinds of things. The measurements are quick, and I think by the time we got started, within the first 30 minutes, each team, because you will work in teams, basically found that they could identify the tree, capture all the relevant information that we're asking for within about a 5, maybe even 7-minute time frame or less. So it is very simple, and I'm very excited to be able to have folks come out and help us collect this information. But we'll gather at our point at 8 a.m. We'll go through that training, and then we'll start to then go into our various different parks to be able to capture that information. And then once that's done, then we'll move to the next park until we've reached our goals. And then once complete, we'll be good to go for the day. And then all of that data will come in, and then staff will be able to follow through with all of that collection and input into our database system. So,
yeah, that's really important, that people realize they don't have to have any experience or knowledge. We will provide all of that. The University of Arizona has developed a really excellent protocol and worksheets. I know when I started, I had, well, less knowledge than I do now about trees, but it's still an ongoing learning process. So it was pretty amazing what I picked up in one day in understanding what we're looking for. And this will make the town of Prescott Valley much better in the future as we identify species that are not susceptible to disease, or work with our water conservation. That's always something in our thoughts. And so it's really important that we get this done. And we want to have the entire project done by June 1st?
Correct.
Yes. And that's also part of the grant. And we're pretty close, because we have contracted out with a company, part of another grant, to do all of the streets and thoroughways. How is that coming along?
It's definitely underway. Our contracted specialists are putting all of the tools that we've given them, which is largely some of the exact same information that our volunteers will have available. They were very happy in regards to having that data to help them along through this process, and they're a very, very knowledgeable group. So I think they were kind of amazed at the work that we were able to do in concert with the University of Arizona and the Arizona Forestry Division in coming up with these tools and methodologies. So we're ready to go with another of our volunteer groups out there and get things moving right along.
Yeah, so May 9th should be interesting, informative, and we're going to try and make it fun to get out there. We should have great weather. We'll get the chance to see the parks and hug some trees.
There you go.
So come out and join us. Okay, let's move on to the next item, and that's the Community Challenge Grant. And as part of our Community Challenge Grant, we put on a homeowners tree care workshop this last Saturday. Now, I went, and I have to admit, I really learned a lot. Our presenters, and we had Larry Hartsock from Kaler, and he put on a presentation on how and why to hire a tree expert. So that was kind of interesting. You know, when do you really need an expert? And there are times you do need an expert. So that was really good. And then he moved on to irrigation systems and controls. Drip is the main thing now, and he really had a lot of good information there. And I shared with our fellow commissioners from Valerie Phipps of Mortimer's Nursery. She brought us some wildflower packets, and so I brought one for each of you tonight. And she had some excellent information on plant selection and proper planting. Now, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I wish I would have gone to one of these tree care workshops when I first moved up here, because she also provided some lists of plants and how to plant them. It was really very good. From there, we moved on, and Jeff, how do you pronounce his name? Schlau, thank you. Very knowledgeable from the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension for Yavapai County. And he talked about diseases, pests, and pathogen issues, and changed the way I'm treating my pests. I'm just completely changed. I didn't realize that you don't have to spray Dr. Death on everything. So Jeff's presentation was really good, and he had knowledge all the way through. So, and then Larry and Dana Dillard talked about pruning trees, something I've never really thought about. You know, I just go out and chop off the limbs, but there really is a science to it, and you can hurt the trees, so that was really great. And then Dana talked about tree hazards, electrical lines, you know, near roadways, walkways, and so all of these topics were just outstanding. And the people that were there, nobody left. People stayed the entire time. I think different ones were looking for different issues, but it was interesting to everybody. And we moved on to a question and answer, but we had a lot of questions throughout the presentation, so we were able to wrap it up about noon. But I really think this was an outstanding workshop, so I hope we can do this again in the future, and maybe have, you know, these same folks or different people come and help us, because this was really good.
Definitely.
So, okay, and with that, I'm going to turn it back to you for the Heritage Grant.
Correct. Well, as you heard, we were very successful with the two preceding grants, and they're all underway. I'd like to inform you tonight with our Arizona Game and Fish Department's Heritage Fund grant that we have been selected to be awarded. However, it is contingent upon a ASHO report, and it's ASHO. Yes, you don't want you to interpret something different there. But that is an archaeological study, and as everyone is quite well aware of, Fain Park does have a variety of those elements. However, they have been studied quite in depth numerous times by numerous folks, and they are somewhat isolated in regards to the areas that the archaeological significant elements are found. So we have submitted that report for their review and consideration. They will be making recommendations back to us. But if you will recall, our application surrounds two different elements, or two different areas, basically working to mitigate the same elements, and that is sedimentation. We'll be working on some trail restoration and realignment. That'll help out our fishery folks, as well as then we're also trying to do some upstream sediment mitigation. As we're all quite well aware of, a number of years back, we had to do some work on the lake, and that was basically excavating and releasing quite a bit of sediment out of the basin of the lake because it had risen from a depth of 47 feet, which is the largest depth at the lake right there at the dam, and it basically filled to almost 8 to 10 feet from the top of dam. So in fixing that, we know what's coming down the hillsides and largely downstream. So we'll be making some of those work efforts there as well too. Once we are given guidance from Game and Fish that we've met all of their necessary elements, then those funds can be released and then we can begin making progress. This has been a somewhat untimely process for us. Our goal was to have this work completed before the end of fiscal year, which is in June. And we've not been allowed to begin work, and this application took place in October of 2014. So we're chomping at the bit. We're ready to go, but as soon as we're given that opportunity, we will begin moving forward. We have probably 95% of everything in process ready to go, so as soon as we have the green light, we'll take off.
That's good. That's something that we've looked at for a long time as a sediment issue. And of course, the Over the Hill gang working with Pat have been doing some trail work up there. So these are all really great things for the town. And I hope we can do some more here with some grants.
Because a large part of this will be in aid of the Over the Hill gang, and literally they're at that standstill stage right now until we're given that release and ready to move forward. So.
And then, just a side note, it doesn't all have to be the Over the Hill gang either. We need Prescott Valley volunteers and residents to come out and help with whatever work does take place. Working under the guidelines and supervision of the Over the Hill gang, but they can't do it all by themselves, and we really need a strong contingent from Prescott Valley to step up and do some work.
Yeah, I would hope that we can eventually get that. We haven't, I don't think we've given folks the opportunity really to do that here. And that's something maybe we need to look at more as we go along with this. And we can get a base core here, I'm sure.
If you, again, tying right back into our employment opportunities, there's also that same linkage in regards to volunteers. Somewhat quiet to that point. But it is listed as a volunteer opportunity as well to become part of our trails group. And yes, exactly what Commissioner Freire indicated. They'd be working under the guidance and auspices of the very knowledgeable group with Over the Hill gang, and growing exactly that element right here for Prescott Valley is very important to us.
Yeah, we think of the Over the Hill gang because they have so much expertise in trail work, So, but we do need those base core volunteers, and once we get the leadership to help them move along, this should work out great. Okay, our next item is old business, and we have absolutely nothing under old business. Wow, that must mean we're current.
Well, we are doing a very good job trying to stay on top of things. As you indicated at the beginning of this year, our work completed at Antelope Park. We followed through with that on a number of different other capital programs. A few to mention have happened quite a bit over at Mountain Valley Splash with our gel coat and slide restoration, the mushroom work. We're continuing additional efforts with new pump motors. Our restrooms will see a upgrade there. We have new partitions that are scheduled to come in. So quite a few different projects over at the Aquatic Center, getting it ready for the upcoming season that's getting ready to pop on Memorial Weekend. Getting those things done. We've got some of our equipment scheduled and taken care of. We've been able to do quite a bit of work out there. And then beyond that, as you know, we just had a very successful boys soccer tournament come in last weekend. This weekend coming in will be the ladies. Each of them have well over 100 teams coming into town, so that's helping out our local economy quite a bit in doing those things. Softball season's underway, doing all those kinds of things. Basketball season's underway from our adult leagues going on. So there is quite a bit of activity going on in our departments, as well as all the field work and efforts, as well as our general common areas with our turf and all those kinds of fun things. So we might just be a wee bit busy right now.
But it's up to date and current. So, yeah, it's a great time of the year because all the sports are going on. And folks can look at pvaz.net and get all the information on what's available. All right, let's go on to new business, and we have one item, and that's a work study scheduled for May 26th. That would probably be at 5:30 in the Parks and Rec conference room. This would be, again, to work on development guidelines. And so if the commission thinks it would be available, we would like to see a motion entertained to schedule that.
I'll make the motion to schedule a work study meeting for Tuesday, May 26th, 5:30 in the conference room.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you. Unscheduled public appearances. The crowd's fairly thin tonight, so we'll move on. And the last item is just the next meeting, work study, is scheduled for Tuesday, April 28th at 5:30 in the Parks and Rec conference room. Again, this will be working on development guidelines. We've set a goal to have that complete later this fall. And then regular meeting on Tuesday, May 12th at 6:30 right here in the auditorium. And then a work study meeting again on May 26th at 5:30 in the Parks and Recs conference room. And that's it. The last item is adjournment. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
And a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? And we're out of here.
Thank you, Tope. We co-second.
Oh, we did.